Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. There's a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express. The most important news and editorial of the day that is relevant for both prelims and mains examination will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with news topic list. Today is 24th of June. The first news is Open Network for Digital Commerce, something very important both for the prelims and mains examination. This is from the text and context page of the Hindu. Second, GST Council meeting on e-way bill for gold. Third, India promises Sri Lanka fullest support. Fourth, India reopened embassy in Kabul after the Taliban overtaken the Afghanistan government. The government of India has shut down its embassy. Now the final resume process has started. And the last is an editorial, how to train a Karam Yogis. So this is an editorial from Indian Express, a deep insight about the government program and policy with regards to the Karam Yogis. Apart from the news and editorial discussion, at the end of this video, there will be MCQ based questions. These questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming prelims examination. So without any further delay, let's get started. And if you're new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do not forget to press a like button. So the first news of the day, that is Open Network for the Digital Commerce, something important for General Studies Paper 2, government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from its design and implementation. This topic again can be important for General Studies Paper 3, where Indian economy and its issues related to are concerned. So what is Open Network for Digital Commerce? I think most of you must be familiar with this term. Recently, the government of India has announced the launch of a pilot scheme. This is a pilot scheme that will be launched initially in the 5 important cities, that is Delhi NCR, Bengaluru, Bhopal, Shillong and Coimbatore. So 5 cities has been selected to launch Open Network for Digital Commerce. I'll make you understand why this is called as Open Network for Digital Commerce in the later part of this video. Let's get started with the first thing first. So this is a pilot project aimed to democratize the country's fast growing digital e-commerce, जहाँ पे एक ऐसी space बनाई जाएगी, everyone would have an option, every sellers and buyer would have one platform to choose it, right? तो अभी जो 2 firms हैं, सबसे बड़े companies जो हैं, Walmart और Amazon, these two are dominating the e-commerce market. तो एक ऐसी प्लेटफॉर्म बनाने की कोशिश की जा रही है जो कि ओपन नेटवर्क पे काम करेगी और किसी भी एक रिस्ट्रिक्टेड प्लेटफॉर्म की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. So what is open network and digital commerce? So the name itself suggests that this is open in nature and this is a network segment based on the open protocol. ये enable करेगी local commerce across segments. एनीवेल अगर आप बात करें मोबिलिटी, ग्रोसरी, फूड डिलीवरी, चाहे वो होटल बुकिंग्स हो, ट्रैवल हो, ये सारी चीज़ें एक ही प्लेटफॉर्म पे इंक्लूड होगी बाय एनी नेटवर्क इनेबल्ड एप्लीकेशन, राइट? इट विल नॉट मेक यू मैंडेटरी टू चूज एनीथिंग. तो एक एग्जाम्पल के तौर पर मैं आपको समझाना चाहूँ. सो इफ़ यू सी लाइक द UPI, राइट? इन UPI यू डोंट हैव एनी रिस्ट्रिक्शन. फॉर एनी QR कोड यू कैन मेक पेमेंट ईदर टू गूगल पे, फोन पे और लाइक इट पेटीएम. तो ऐसे बहुत सारे ऐसे मल्टीपल प्लेटफॉर्म है जो एक QR कोड से आपको पेमेंट करने की ऑप्शंस देती है. द सेम गोज टू दिस ओपन नेटवर्क फॉर डिजिटल कॉमर्स वेयर इट विल अलाउ द पीपल, बायर्स एंड सेलर्स to use a single platform to buy multiple items and products. This is why it is being termed as open network for digital commerce. Now the platform aims to create a new opportunities where it will curb the digital monopolies. Basically by monopolies I mean कि कोई ऐसी कंपनीज है उन्होंने रिस्ट्रिक्ट की हुई हैं कि आप उन्हीं के प्लेटफॉर्म पे जाके ऑर्डर प्लेस कर सकते हैं. मेनी अ टाइम्स यू हैव सीन दैट सम आइटम आर एक्सक्लूसिव टू सर्च सम प्लेटफॉर्म्स, राइट? सो दैट विल नॉट बी देयर. And by supporting, this will also give us support to all micro, small and medium enterprises. जो small traders होंगे वो भी एक online platform को utilize कर पाएंगे and even they will get an equal chance to be the competitors in the market. As per the strategy, the open network and digital commerce will be a non-profit organization. What is this non-profit organization here in this context में? इस context का यहाँ पे मतलब ये है जो नॉन प्रॉफिट ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस होंगे वो जो चार्ज है बेसिकली एनी एग्रीगेटर्स द प्लेटफॉर्म यू आर यूजिंग दे आर चार्जिंग समथिंग फ्रॉम द बायर्स एंड सेलर्स. some hidden costs are there, right? So this charges would be minimal to just run the enterprises, और ये नो प्रॉफिट के बेसिस पे काम करेगी. दैट इज द रीजन इट इज बीइंग टर्म्ड एज अ नॉन प्रॉफिट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. It is neither an aggregator applications, not a hosting platform. So this is a very important statement. Even you can get this statement in the UPSC prelims examination, right? So this is neither an aggregator platform, not a hosting platform, and all existing digital e-commerce basically applications and the platform can voluntarily choose to adopt the part of ONDC network. So this is how this will be executed, and in a longer run, it has a potential to even contribute to the larger extent of the economy, the GDP contribution, and it will also call for equal participation for the small vendors, small players, and the large player also. Now, formation of ONDC की अगर बात करें, it's an initiative by the Department of Promotion and Industrial Trade, जिसको DPIIT के नाम से भी जाना जाता है. This work under the control of Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Department for Promotion and Industry and Internal Trade under the Ministry of Commerce conducted an outreach during the outbreak. इन्होंने एक सर्वे भी की जहाँ से पाया गया that COVID-19 पेंडेमिक के टाइम जो छोटे स्मॉलेस्ट बायर्स थे, सेलर्स थे, हाइपर लोकल सप्लाई चेन थे, उनमें काफ़ी ज़्यादा डिस्ट्रप्शन हुई, एंड इवन दे पीपल वेर नॉट हैविंग अ प्लेटफॉर्म वेयर दे कैन एक्चुअली सेल देयर प्रोडक्ट. द रीजन बीइंग हाई एम्प्लॉयमेंट एंड हाई लाइवलीहुड, जो खास करके छोटे MSME सेक्टर्स के लोग हैं या फिर स्मॉल वेंडर्स हैं, उनको काफ़ी ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम हुई. So post which it found that there is a high or huge disconnect between the scale of online demand and the ability of local retail ecosystem to participate. See, a small vendor do not have an option to make a app or even the websites और वहाँ पे फिर वो promotions करें. ये सारी चीज़ें एक small vendors के लिए काफ़ी ज़्यादा tough होती है, because costing is also involved, right? हर एक चीज़ में cost है, execution cost है, promotions cost है. So these costs are not there, and even for this ONDC, it will help all other small vendors to be the part of it. So following the consultation were held, multiple ministries के साथ consultation की गई और ONDC की जो envision है वो लाई गई गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से, and this will definitely revolutionize the commerce, basically digital commerce in country. So make sure you have good points to write in mains. You can expect a direct question in the mains examination. Although this is again very significant for the prelims also. Now, current status of the ONDC presently, as I've told you in the beginning, this would be operated on a pilot basis. So initially इसकी train basically एक trial ली जा रही है कि कैसी performance होती है. The cities are Delhi, Bengaluru, Bhopal, Shillong and Coimbatore with a target of around 150 retailers, right? And the government has constituted an advisory body to analyze the potential of ONDC and a concept to advise the government measures needed to accelerate its adaptations. Now next 5 years में गवर्नमेंट ये एक्सपेक्ट कर रही है कि ONDC will bring 90 crore users and 12 lakh sellers on the network, enabling 730 crore of additional purchases. So these are the targets, the broad roadmap with regards to the ONDC. Now as I have given you example of UPI, तो यहाँ पे उसी तरह पे replicating UPI के concepts को utilize किया जा रहा है. The ONC model is trying to replicate the success of unified payment interface in the digital payment, as you can use any other platform, even for the QR code. आप किसी भी mode पे payment कर सकते हैं. The UPI allow you to send and receive money irrespective of the platform you are using and who are you registered with. The open network concept also extend beyond the retail sector with any digital commerce domain, which include wholesale, mobility, food delivery, logistics, travel, and urban services. So this is how it will be replicating to the platform, or you can say more or less the concept of the UPI. Now ONDC के targets क्या हैं? ONDC aims to raise e-commerce penetration in the next 2 years, that is around 25% of Indian consumer purchase, which is nearly 8%. अभी present में 8%, इसको gradually increase करनी है 25%, and in a country of 1.35 billion people. Now it is also hoped that the sign up of 900 million buyers and 1.2 million sellers would be shared with this network to achieve the merchandise value of around $48 billion. Now government estimates that India's e-commerce market जो है उसकी worth value अगर देखें, it is something around 55 billion in a gross merchandise, which is valued for 2021, and it is expected to grow by $350 billion. और currently कुछ दो important ऐसे e-commerce player हैं जो कि इस मार्केट में है और उनकी जो शेयर है ऑलमोस्ट 60%. यू कैन सी दैट डिस्पैरिटी इवन दैट वुड बी देयर विद स्मॉल बायर्स और सेलर्स. तो करेंटली अमेजोन और वॉलमार्ट जो है जिसको जिन्होंने फ्लिपकार्ट को भी परचेज किया हुआ है, सो वॉलमार्ट फ्लिपकार्ट हैज कंट्रोल ओवर 60% ऑफ द मार्केट. अगेन अ फैक्चुअल डेटा, इवन इफ यू आर राइटिंग इन मेंस पेपर you can use this. Now, other benefits of ONDC, apart from all the points that we have discussed, इसके और क्या अलग से benefits होंगे? ONDC will standardize the operation of cataloging, inventory management, order management, और उसके और भी कुछ fulfillment जो requirement होती है for a supply chain or to run a business, that would be made simple and easier for the small businesses, and it will be discoverable over a network to conduct the businesses. However, the experts are of the opinion, they have pointed out that some issues likely, जहाँ पे potential issues हैं like getting enough e-commerce platform to sign up, along with the issues related to customer services and payment registration or payment integration would be definitely a challenge initially, but we have to work upon which the beneficiaries, even the buyers and seller, both would be mutually benefited. Now, the other new GST Council meeting on e-way bill for gold, something important for General Studies Paper 3 in mains, that is Indian economy and issues related to planning, mobilization, resource growth and development. So in a measure that will help to curtail revenue losses from the tax evasion on the gold and precious stone, the GST Council regime, or you can say the GST regime, and even the upcoming GST Council meeting will discuss the proposal for implementing a mandatory e-bill system. E-way bill होगी जो interstate movement of high value items जिसकी value almost minimum 3 to 2 lakh तक रखी गई है, minimum of a threshold of 2 lakh would be there. So ministerial panel बनाई गई थी basically GST Council की. This was headed by Kerala Finance Minister, and he has recommended this proposal where the minister, or you can say the chairman, suggested that there should be a mandatory e-invoicing of B2B transaction by all the taxpayer, that is supplying good precious stone and having an annual irrigated turnover of above 200 crore rupees. Now, GOM की अगर suggestions की बात करें, the group of minister has suggested that the state should be allowed to decide on the modalities, right? कहाँ पे किस तरह से impose करनी है e-way bill को on the intra-state movement for the gold and precious stone, right? So the state would be also given before information ताकि उनकी भी जो grievances है वो address की जा सके, and a prior consent would be required, right? No, this is not a kind of necessary consent, but definitely they would share their opinion. It will also suggest that the GST network in consultation with NIC will work on the modalities जहाँ पे इसकी implementations को लेकर के invoicing of gold and precious stones would be taken into considerations. Now there would be minimum threshold of 2 lakh rupees, which I have shared with you in the beginning, and the state can decide upon any amount that they require as a minimum threshold. This would be a consensus that would be coming from all the states and generating e-way for the interstate movement for the gold precious stone in their states. Now suggestions on the tax rate, कुछ टैक्स रेट चेंजेस की बात की गई है, जो इस बार मीटिंग होनी है उस पर कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट बातों पे डिस्कशन होगी. दैट विल कॉल फॉर द फिटमेंट कमिटी. दिस फिटमेंट कमिटी मीन्स अ कमिटी ऑन द जीएसटी विच रिप्रेजेंट बोथ सेंटर एंड द स्टेट गवर्नमेंट, राइट? सो दिस विल कॉल फॉर रेंजिंग कट टू पॉलिश डायमंड्स, जहाँ पे अभी 1.5% करने की बात की गई है फ्रॉम एग्जिस्टिंग 0.25. तो करेंट रेट 0.25 है, इसको बढ़ा करके 1.5% तक की लाने की बात की गई है. टेट्रा पैकेट्स के लिए जो कि एग्जिस्टिंग में 12% है, इसको 18% करने की बात की गई है. एंड रेट कट की भी बात की गई है ऑस्टोमी अप्लाइंसेस के लिए, लाइक वाटर वॉफ, पाउच, कलेक्टिंग वेस्ट, दी शुड बी ब्रॉट टू नील, जो भी एग्जिस्टिंग 12% है. तो रिकमेंडेशंस आई हैं कि इन पे जो रेट्स हैं इनको जीरो करनी चाहिए. जो करंट में जो रेट्स चल रही है वो 12% की है. The Fitment Committee has also recommended a uniform 5% tax on the orthopedic implants like trauma, spine, astroplasty implants. So this is again important because the medical expenses is high in India, and even if this product would be higher, it would definitely costing a pocket high costing to the normal citizen. Another issues of taxation, जो virtual digital assets हैं, that include cryptocurrency. Fitment Committee has recommended deferring their decision and suggested that states of Haryana and Karnataka shall study all aspects to submit a paper in due course. So accordingly, some state would be looking for some amendment Accordingly, the suggestions would be made and final basically decision would come in this particular regard. Now, consensus and goal, whatever we have discussed, a brief about through these images. E-way bill proposed for the interstate movement. State agrees to the proposal. Most of the state have been agreed. And GM leaves decision to the implementation on the state. On the state would be also deciding the amount, the minimum amount. They have recommended 2 lakh rupees. Now, GM to take consensus decision on the GST Council, and GOAT presently it exempted from the e-way bill, right? And officers committee to work on the modalities how to implement it. Moving to the other news, India promised Sri Lanka fullest support. This is important for General Studies paper 2, that India and its neighborhood relations. So in order to boost the bilateral relationship between India and Sri Lanka, India assured Sri Lanka that it will provide its fullest support to help the island nation to overcome from the economic crisis, considering the further financial assistance. India has already provided multiple financial assistance to Sri Lanka, but अब और भी इंडिया असिस्टेंस देगी. श्रीलंका is witnessing the worst economic crisis after its independence. So the delegations from India, led by the Foreign Secretary, has met with Sri Lanka President and Prime Ministers to look forward with the resolutions that they can help it out. Now, India assistance so far की अगर बात करें, India has already provided 3.5 billion assistance since 2022 to the isolated nation, that is to Sri Lanka. And India's assistance so far has extended by the way of currency swap, loan deferments, and credit line for essential imports. Right? Sri Lankan government has sought a further 500 million from India to import fuel, that is awaiting. Response is awaiting from India. Very soon, the possibility is that India would definitely allow for this particular thing. Now, IMF की साथ बात चल रही श्रीलंका की on the debt restructuring. So the Sri Lanka government is currently holding talk with the visiting delegations of the IMF, that is International Monetary Fund, on the debt restructuring program. Sri Lanka is urgently looking to bridge financial to cope up with the accurate shortages of essential items, जो कि उनके citizen के लिए जो खासी ज़रूरतें चीज़ हैं, even for petroleum, the gas, many other products are missing, and citizen of Sri Lanka is missing out with all the product. They are having a problem to carry out their daily function. Now, India Sri Lanka investment partnership की अगर बात करें, apart from all this crisis that is ongoing, this particular meeting which was headed by the secretary, so he said that we'll be looking forward to the investment plan also. So the recent delegations from India has held meeting with regards to the investment, and both sides has highlighted the promoting of India Sri Lanka investment partnership, which include some of the important and prominent areas like infrastructure, connectivity, renewable energies, deepening economic linkages between the two countries. And from the beginning of this year, India has signed a key bilateral agreement with Sri Lanka, that is Trikonmalle Oil Tank Farm, to set up through the National Thermal Power Corporations or solar power plant in Sampo. कुछ और प्राइवेट कंपनीज हैं लाइक अडानी दैट इज ऑल्सो ऑपरेटिंग, कुछ वहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम्स हुई हैं, दे आर नॉट फाइनली एग्जीक्यूटिंग दैट. सो दीज ऑल मोडलिटीज वुड बी ऑल्सो लुक अपॉन सो दैट a final resolution is given between a bilateral relationship with India and Sri Lanka. Now, India reopened embassy in Kabul, something important for General Studies paper 2, India and its neighborhood relations. So in a measured steps to re-establish and present in Afghanistan, एक टेक्निकल टीम है जो ऑफिशियल्स हैं इंडिया के, उन्होंने काबुल विजिट किया एंड दे हैव फाइनली एग्रीड, दे हैव गिवन देयर सजेशंस टू रीओपन द इंडियन एम्बेसी इन काबुल. राइट, सो द मूव टू रीओपन द एम्बेसी इज आफ्टर 10 months when government decided to completely shut down the embassy after the Taliban overtaking the Afghanistan government. So recently, Taliban headed by the senior ME official India की तरफ से JP Singh, he is a highest official in the ME, and he has said that they would be meeting with the foreign minister of Taliban to look into the ground situation and how India could further have the engagement process with the present government. Right, the opening of embassy is a step towards working more closely towards the Taliban regime. I have named this official, the reason being for many other competitive examination they can ask you this particular thing also. Now, earthquake relief assistance India ने दी है. जब ओपनिंग की बात की गई इंडिया के एम्बेसीज की, so India has also looked forward to give a relief and assistance. So India also sent the first consignment of basically भेजी गई है वहाँ पे earthquake relief के लिए. the Afghanistan. More than 1,000 Afghan people have been killed in this particular earthquake. And first consignment of relief in the people of the affected area was sent by the Indian Air Force craft. Reconstituted team बनाई गई. According to the sources, a reconstituted team comprises of security personnel, engineering personnel has now been sent to Kabul for the purpose of setting the consular and the visas arrangement, the distributions of humanitarian assistance, as well as to oversee the maintenance and restart of the various development projects that India companies are undertaking in Afghanistan. So let's see how this trade relations and even for all the over mutual relationship between India and Afghanistan will go, because India has never recognized the Taliban government, which is again backed by militancy. So the reason being, government of India ने अभी तक officially कुछ बातों को clear नहीं किया. Now, the other news, that is editorial of the day, that is how to train a Karam Yogi. Important for Gender Studies paper 2. That is important aspects of governance, transparency, accountability, and e-governance. So under this editorial, I'll be discussing 4 important subheads. That is the background, erstwhile training program, professional programs in public policy, and the way forward. The entire editorial focuses upon the Karam Yogi, Mission Karam Yogi. Again, very important article. Even if it is being asked in mains examination, आप कुछ important points यहाँ से directly लिख पाएंगे mains paper. So Mission Karam Yogi, it was actually launched in September 2020. और इस पूरा मिशन का नाम है नेशनल प्रोग्राम फॉर सिविल सर्विसेज कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग प्रोग्राम, which is meant to reform Indian bureaucracy and prepare civil servant for the future, right? So this program aims for a comprehensive reform at the capacity building apparatus for individual, institutional and process level for efficient public service delivery. Recently जो मिशन कर्म योगी है उसके प्रोग्राम को वर्ल्ड बैंक ने 47 मिलियन तक का बेसिकली क्रेडिट दिया है, सो दैट दे कैन बूस्ट ऑन वर्किंग ऑन इट. नाउ इससे पहले क्या ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम थी गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया के पास? बिफोर 1985 जो कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग प्रोग्राम थी फॉर हायर सिविल सर्विसेज प्राइमरी वाज इन्वॉल्व इन अ 2-year इंडक्टिंग प्रोग्राम, राइट? जो लोअर सिविल सर्विसेज थी उनमें कोई ट्रेनिंग नहीं थी. बाय लोअर सिविल सर्विसेज आई मीन ऑल द स्टेट पीसीएस पीपल, राइट? So in 1985 then government recognized कि 2-year के जो induction program है वो sufficient नहीं है senior officers के लिए. Now all the Indian administrative services officer or the IAS officer were mandated to attend a week-long training program annually, जहाँ पे periodically बाद में उनको हर 4 week पे training दी जाती थी ताकि उनके learning outcomes और reflections को देखा जा सके. Now professional program in public policy, this was again revamped by the government. Government को लगा कि अब हमें ज़रूरत है कि हमें एक ऐसे cadres को तैयार करना है जो कि professionally trained भी हो. तो in early 20s, the government has launched a year-long professional program in the public policy at IIM Bangalore, followed by the program in IIM Ahmedabad, MDI Gurgaon, and Terry University. Right? So this would be providing an high-end training to the civil services. The government further strengthened the mid-training program of IAS officer, inducting phase 3, phase 4, phase 5 program for the different career aspect, right? तो initially जब कोई भी civil servant induct होते हैं, suppose if you are selected in IAS, you will be inducted for phase 1, which is there in Mussoorie, और जो phase 2 होती है वो district training होती है, induction programs होती है, right? तो आपको district दे, उसके बाद जैसे जैसे आपकी seniority बढ़ेगी आपको accordingly Mussoorie लबासना में बुला करके train किया जाएगा for the phase 3, phase 4 and phase 5. So this is not like once you have undergone training Mussoorie that is set. No, again you will be called accordingly. जब आप junior time scale से senior time scale में जाएंगे फिर upper senior time scale में जाएंगे तो आपकी accordingly training होती रहेगी, right? So the rationale was this, to induct the program equipped with the IAS officers to be good field officers they are required in the competency in the more senior level. So this is the reason being the government has inducted this professional program in the public policies. Now, this is something which you can even draw in the examination. 21st century के civil servant क्या basically जो expectations हैं DOPT mission कर्मयोगी के तो. So active and polite, they should be proactive and polite, professional and progressive, energetic, enabling, transparent and tech enabled, creating and constructive, and imaginative and innovative. So these are some of the character that is being expected from a 21st century civil servant. Now, way forward की बात करें, as democracy mature, elected representative will play more a proactive role in policy making. There's a need for massive scale up of the capacity building both at the पॉलिटिकल एंड ब्यूरोक्रेटिक लेवल, ये ज़रूरी है कि जिस तरह से चीज़ें बढ़ रही है हमें हर एक लेवल में उस पर्टिकुलर लेवल पे भी इसको इन्हांस करने की जरूरत है, चाहे पॉलिटिकल हो या फिर ब्यूरोक्रेटिक हो. Therefore, it is imperative for the representative that they're able to understand the nuances of the policy making. Policy making की क्या implementation होनी चाहिए, what are the things that need to be considered, how the execution will go, everything need to be there, right? Such program must build a capacity to envision a future work for towards it. And capacity building must aim at building a professional in all domains, from the technical expert to the journalist. Moving to the MCQ questions of the day. Before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday questions. For the first question, the correct option is A. For second question, also the correct option is A. Today's MCQ for practice, Maitru Setu project. The Maitru Setu project symbolizes the friendly relationship between India and Sri Lanka. The project is being taken by the Lane Port Authority of India. So do check it out for the correct options. Second question, that is exercise test link 2 is between India and Sri Lanka, India, Japan, Russia, India, Afghanistan, and India, Uzbekistan. So you have to check for the correct option. This type of question will again be relevant for the prelims examination. So this was all about for the daily news and editorial analysis, followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern, you can let me know. I'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.